Welcome back, everyone, to Uncivil Discourse, or Battletech. It's been a while, so I'm not exactly sure what we're doing. Maybe something a little bit in between.
Season 5 is a wrap. We took this one off from doing the podcast. Life's been very hectic for all of us this year, and I, to be honest, needed a break. But hey, one more season down, and here we go, launching again. We will be doing, over the summer, up until Season 6, we will be doing, hopefully, some regular Battletechs. And then we'll get back into our Uncivil Discourse for Season 6 around the draft day.
And joining both Brett and Lee this year, it's Scott, one of your regular players over at the Calgary Battletech League. For those who are new, and for those who were curious as to what exactly we did for the past year, well, we played Calgary Battletech League, which is a set of games ran every Sunday for 5 months, with playoffs happening as a 3-round single elimination. We use a faction-based format that is 4 units, picked before the season starts, and you play them all year long.
Although it's actually every second Sunday. Every Sunday would be a little ridiculous. But let's start with a recap. Who's who in the zoo?
Starting off our units, we have the compelling Confederation players this year. They were Kale and Andre, returning with Quinn joining them. For Comstar, we had Chris B and JP. They're both returning players. And the Crusader clans were fielded by James, Darren, and Brett, all returning players from prior seasons.
Haha, suckers. Not sure how an admin got a clan faction, but it happened. Moving on, we have 2 players for the Draconis Combine. All hail the dragon. Lee, our other admin, and Carlo. This is back-to-back seasons. The DCMS has been fielded by an admin member. On the other side of the border, we have John, Will, and Scott in the Federated Sons, while our Free Razzlehog Republic players were Devin and Corey. The Free Worlds League seems to be the faction of choice this year, with 4 returning players managed to claim it due to a sneaky trade on draft day. Matt, Jeff, Gary, and our other Jeff all got to run this new faction. Well, not so new, but a little bit revamped this year.
And in the Lyran Alliance Blue, the Mighty House Steiner, we had 3 returning and 1 new player this year. Heather and Calvin both returned to play the faction for a second time. Jay is our 3rd returning player, and Brody happened to come by and be the newbie this year for the Lyran Alliance. Our mercenary faction is always at maximum capacity for a variety of reasons, with both Todd G, Todd B, and Jared for his 3rd season. Additionally, we also had another player slip in, Danny, with his mercenaries as well. And we also had the Periphery Powers come by with their PPC slapsticks. I feel that were very overpowered this year. With Chris M, Keenan, and the new player, Dave!
Well, that leaves us 2 factions left to cover. For the St. Ives Compact, we see a significant change from last year, where 4 players had chosen that faction. This year, we only had Paul picking it this time, probably due to the fact that we added rocket launchers for their tech, and it's a kind of a hate-love relationship. Lastly, but not least, the faction of the Warden clans only had returning players here with Alex, Chris C, and Brandon.
Let's take a minute to see how those players wandered the path to victory, defeat, or crushing non-wins. So, coming in at the bottom of the pack, we had Will when running his Yogi Jaggers with the Federated Sons. He played all 10 games. He ended up losing 8, a tie, and a bye win because his opponent couldn't make it that day. Then we had Chris B in the next place with Merlin's Beard, running Comstar, played all 10 games. Another 0 win, 8 loss, 2 bye wins though. Third from the bottom was Gary with the Red Suns Regulars, playing Free Worlds League, played 10 games, won 1, lost 6, and tied 3. Next up, we had Brody with the Lyran Iron Legion, running, oh, shocking, Lyran Alliance, played all 10 games, had 2 wins, 7 losses, and 1 tie. Up next, Corey with Angar's Outlaws from the Free Razzlehog Republic. 10 games, 1 win, 6 losses, 2 ties, and 1 bye win. Following that up, we had John with the Outback Saints with the Federated Sons. 10 games, 1 win, 7 losses, and 2 bye wins. Almost near the top here, we've got Heather in 3rd place for D-Side, 27th overall. Blitzkrieg Jezebels with the Lyran Alliance. 10 games, 1 win, 5 losses, 2 ties, and 2 bye wins. Coming in 2nd for D Division, we had Jay with Wendigo's Night Stalkers. Another Lyran. So 10 games, 3 wins, 6 losses, and 1 tie. Chris C came in at 25th place, or top of D Division, representing Paxton's Pathfinders and the Wardens. He had 2 wins, 5 losses, 2 ties, and 1 bye win to round out his season.
Moving on to the bottom of C Division, we have Daniel with the Fighting Flamingos coming in 24th, representing the Mercs. 2 wins, 6 losses, 0 ties, and 2 bye wins. Andre in 23rd with the Vodka Pillagers, representing those Capellans, with 2 wins, 5 losses, 2 ties, and a bye win. Quite a few bye wins this season. Paul in 22nd with the Robin Hood's Rangers, representing the St. Ives, with 3 wins, 6 losses, 0 ties, and a bye win. Hit in the middle of the pack for C Division, we have Todd B in 21st position, the White Wolves being a mercenary unit, 2 wins, 4 losses, 3 ties, and 1 bye win. In 20th, we have Chris M with Buford's big, beautiful, blah, 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 and a whole bunch of other stuff, Bashers, representing the Periphery. Sorry, it's way too long. I'm not even reading it for one show. 2 wins, 4 losses, 2 ties, and 2 bye wins. Our very own special commentator, hopefully for next season as well, we have Scott in 19th, being the Steel Haze, representing the Federated Sons, with 3 wins, 3 losses, 3 ties, and a bye win. Would have been hard to get 3 bye wins with 10 games, but it would have been kind of cool to have 3s across the board. His brother just barely squeaked about in 18th place, James, with the Crimson Chargers, representing the Crusader clans, with 3 wins, 3 losses, 3 ties, and a bye. Wait a minute. Did you get bumped out because of spelling?
1 point. Just 1 mech.
You guys even had the same point differential.
One had 18, one had what points kills for.
And then finally, top of C Division, we have Jared in 17th place with the Salona's Squad, Mercenaries, with 4 wins, 4 losses, 2 ties, and 0 bye wins.
Now we get to B. At the base of B, we have Keenan with the Maroon Platoon, representing the Periphery. He won 3 games, lost 2 of them, proceeded to get 4 ties, and had 1 bye win. And continuing, we have Quinn, one of the newcomers, with the Jade Talon Dragoons as the Capellans. He managed to get 3 wins in his first season, 3 losses, 2 ties, and 2 bye wins. Brandon, immediately above him, is the Crooks Cataclysm Cavaliers, running the Warden clans, with 3 wins, 3 losses, 2 ties, and 2 bye wins. Brett, one of the admins. Woohoo! The Fighting Falcons with the Crusader clans. 5 wins. Why are you in D Division? 5 losses. And no other scores across the board. It's just even 5 and 5.
That's why, batting 500.
We've also got Darren with Wraith's Raptors as the Crusader clans, with 4 wins, 4 losses, 1 tie, and 1 bye win. Matt with Cat's Nightingale Cavalry in the Free Worlds League, 4 wins, 4 losses, 2 bye wins. Todd G I've watched this guy a couple times this season, so he's really upped his game with the Royal Mercenary Lancers as Mercs. 5 wins, 3 losses, and 2 ties. And at the top of B, we have JP and the Neutral Reavers as Comstar with 5 wins, 4 losses, and 1 bye win.
Hey, I'd like to point out there's only 2 people that had more kills this year than I did. I just
And that
didn't
would
get a whole lot of
be
wins.
who were the people that had more kills than you?
You were one of them,
Mm-hmm.
and our Jeff P, one of our pro painters, was the other one. So, A-side division, coming in 8th spot was Devin with the Fangs of Needhog, Free Razzlehog Republic, 6 wins, 4 losses, and 0 ties, 0 bye wins. Next up, we had Carlo in 7th, Amber Jaggers from the Draconis Combine with 3 wins, 2 losses, 1 tie, and a whopping 4 bye wins. Then coming in at 6, we've got that guy who likes to talk a lot, Lee, Dead Man's Hand from the Draconis Combine. 5 wins, 3 losses, 1 tie, and 1 bye win. So I'd like to point out you have no more wins than I did, except for when somebody couldn't make it.
And I beat you.
Yep.
So therefore,
absolutely
even if
did.
we had been tied, I still would beat
You did beat me this year.
you. Yep,
I blame the light mech.
yep.
But also, on top of you, coming in at 5th place is second generation, my kid Alex, with the Wolf Pack, Wardens, 6 wins, 3 losses, and 1 tie. And I do believe he beat you. So you don't have that much bragging rights. You do have some, but not all that many.
I'll beat everybody.
Pretty much. Coming in 4th, we have Jeff, Rishton's Rogues, Free Worlds League, 6 wins, 2 losses, and 2 ties. Kale with the Rakshasha's Rampage from the Capellan Confederation, 8 wins, 2 losses, 0 ties. Dave, Kid Icarus, one of our new guys, absolutely beginning this year. Dave's Particle Party with the Peripheries, 8 wins, no losses, 2 ties. And then we have, as mentioned, Jeff, Scions of Omaris from the Free Worlds League with 9 wins and 1 loss. That rounds out our 4 divisions for our finals in regular season.
And all these amazing players in each of their divisions happened to go off to the playoffs. It didn't matter how well you scored or how poor you did, everyone got off to a division. And as mentioned, they are 3 rounds, single elimination, because we want it to be as even as we can and a true show of the skill that the CBL does a few things to even the playing field. First, we break out into 32 players from this list into odds and divisions, as I just mentioned, into your relative skill, win, and loss level. Second, each division plays on the same map for each round, and when that round's over, the map rotates to different divisions, so anyone who goes all the way in each division will have played the same maps as all the others. And finally, when people get knocked out, we match them up against random players they didn't come up against during this regular season, meaning everyone gets the full 13 games to the best of our ability.
Moving on to round 1 of the playoffs. The A-side bracket had our first place Jeff with the Scions of Omaris up against Devin and the Fangs of Needhog. Then we had Dave's in second place with Dave's Particle Party up against Carlo with the Amber Jaggers. Kale with Rakshas's Rampage played me, Lee, with the Dead Man's Hands. Finally, Jeff with Riston's Rogues played up against Alex with Wolfpack.
In B-side, we had JP with Neutral Reavers going up against Keenan, the Maroon Platoon. Todd G from the Royal Lancers was up against Quinn, the Jade Talon Dragoons. Matt and Cat's Cavalry was up against Brandon of Crook's Cavaliers. And then Darren's Wraith's Raptors faced me with my Fighting Falcons.
Then we went to Seaside. Seaside might be still best side, with Jared and the Saloma Squad against Chris C and his Paxton's Pathfinders. James, with his Crimson Chargers, played Andre and his Vodka Pillagers. I played against Paul with his Robin Hood's Rangers. And Chris M played Todd B with Beaufort's BBB Bashers and the White Wolves.
Finally, but once again, not the least of our group, we have the D-side bracket. We had Jay with the Wendigos Night Stalkers playing up against Will with the Yogi's Jaggers. Heather, my better half, with the Blitzkrieg Jezebels up against Chris B, the Merlin's Beard. John, the defending D-side champion, with the Outback Saints, is up against Gary, one of my most favorite teams, in the Red Suns Irregulars. And Corey, with the Ansgar's Outlaws, played up against Brody, the Lyran Iron Legion.
Moving into round 2, we had both of the Jeffs proceed and ended up facing off against each other. In A side, the other two teams were Dave and Kale.
Going into B, we had JP and Brandon face off, and then there was Todd G and Brett.
Side, we had Jared up against Andre, and Scott up against Chris M.
And in our D side for round 2, we had Jay and Gary facing off, followed by Heather and Corey facing off.
And because there can only be one at the end of the season, and the most exciting matchups were, in A side, Jeff Painter versus Dave.
In B side, we had JP and Todd G.
C side, we had Jared up against Chris M.
And the last side, D side, was Gary and Heather facing off.
And to recap our final overall champions, in D side it was Heather taking it this year. C side we had Chris M. B side we had JP. And in our A side finals we had Dave as Rookie of the Year.
I'd like to note on this is the first year in many years we've had 3 of the 4 championships won by new players. Not new to the league necessarily, but have never won a championship before.
And other than the first season where everybody was new, I think this is the first time somebody new has gone all of the way to top of 8.
Yeah, Dave played a fantastic season. His particle party was just a massacring machine of head cappers. Well, that's a pretty dirty and quick accounting of our season for those who like it and who wanted to know the information. We would have been more detailed, but you had no build-up. We didn't have the 13 shows like we normally do.
13, 15, lots and lots of shows, usually every season. Well, we normally talk about some of the most popular mechs and skills in our wrap-up show, but realistically, this year it was pretty diverse. The only real common mech was the King Crab, and then it was faction teched by everyone and their dog and their neighbor, so none of them really ended up being what I would consider a King Crab or a most popular chassis.
Brett, the King Crab was such an amazingly diverse machine. Like, there was almost something for everybody, and it was really easy to modify with the faction tech skills. In seasons past, we have always seen trends in the skills that multiple teams seem to think are like automatic buys. In seasons past, we've had bribery picked a lot, so that you can pick the side of the map instantly without having to roll for it. Or combat wisdom when we first introduced the clans, because it protected the head of your prime machine. This year, it's been the season of tactics and mobility, with skills like strategist and seize the initiative, both being long-term strategic moves that either allowed you to get an initiative bonus, which got better as time went by, or just simply seize the momentum later in the game by sacrificing the initiative wins to get an auto-initiative win later in that game. Finally, mobility skills like erratic piloting and tactical movement. The first one allowing you to add to your defensive modifier by using up spare MP and taking higher firing penalties, and tactical movement giving you a free 2 MP to spend just before that end phase. So you can get up if you fell down, get into a better position for later. I personally love seeing the league finding these gem skills that get overlooked until someone ends up taking it and showing off how great they can be and how they synergy with other skills.
Every year, I gotta agree with you, Lee, in this regard. Every year we hear people saying, "Oh, I've never seen that skill. Oh, I can't see how this skill would be good." And then as a result, we have a couple of players that are like, "Okay, we're gonna run that skill next year. And we're gonna show people exactly what it does." I like to say, every skill has a reason, and every scenario has a skill as an answer for something that a player may want to do.
You know, being one of the newer players in League, I feel like you're right. There are a lot of skills that do go overlooked, and then suddenly someone has to take them. I mean, last season for me, I was running a Timberwolf with tactics, which was just like, it was scary when you ran it with some specialty munitions. I know that this year, I personally felt like the skills that I took didn't quite line up, and I know that the faction tech I took did not work at all for me at all.
More Deca with rotary autocannons. Love me some rotary autocannons.
And jam like every other turn.
You know what? For some people, they work all season. They never seem to jam them, and other people, it's like every second roll, they end up having to go, "Oh crap! I go hide the mech for a turn to get the unjam."
I think there's 3 skills for that.
Oh, there is, but it's still a real pain in the butt because nothing actually just negates the jam. It just lets you deal with it later.
Yeah, and then a super slow mech, that king crab, it's real hard to get that out of harm's way once it's already in there.
Well, you got it. It's been a pretty busy year throughout our hobby. What do you want to talk about next?
You know, let's actually talk about one of the newer products that Catalyst brought out. One that I was actually very surprised by, and that's Gothic. Gotta say, when Catalyst lined up to that, and they're just like, we're gonna plunk 40k as their sellable item number, that made me laugh first. Got a little bit more interested, bought into the fact with all the mechs looking super cool, abominations basically being super scary nightmare fuel monsters that could tear mechs apart and rip pilots from cockpits, and blazers. Let's just say that blazers are everywhere, and blazers are cool. Not so much in Classic, but in this, you have to check them out. They got a dazzle mode for those who haven't read yet, and you want to deal with some pesky infantry or those abominations I just talked about, turn it to dazzle mode because you get half heat on your blazers but full damage. Amazing.
Yeah, I've played it a little bit, and it's okay to sit down and just have a game here and there, I think. I will probably end up getting the Abominants when they come out with the Abominant pack, just so that I can actually have proper models for it. I don't think I'm going to be too terribly interested in it long run, but as a one-off thing, it's okay for a weekend or a game a couple of times a year.
I'm really surprised you brought up this particular topic, Brett, because you know I'm pretty salty about the whole Battletech Gothic. I'll be quick and I won't be too brutal on this. I think the artwork was fantastic. I think the box set has some value for people who want to collect things, the minis and stuff like that. Those are the only 2 positive things I can say about it, unfortunately, because I think the price point is ridiculous.
It's a little high.
You got mechs with hats. Like I said, I'm critical of this product. I thought it was a bad idea from the beginning. Only because I don't think they should be poking the 40k bear. Right? Just leave them alone. Don't. We've had to deal with the HG problem for 20 years. Why would you poke someone else to cause potential problems? And nobody asked for this product. Once again, the artwork's beautiful. I love the maps. I think the idea of the abominations, kind of a cool idea. I was disappointed that it wasn't a rift into another dimension and you ended up with demons and the Inner Sphere trying to deal with them. It just ended up being another, kind of felt like a Word of Blake experiment that went wrong. So that's just me. I also think in the box set they should have given you the abominations first and then did the mech customization things as blind boxes, because really, I already own an Atlas. I own 4 of them. What do I need more that look like popes?
Well, the Abominations weren't actually planned as a release. It's because people said, hey, you did this, we'd actually like those, that they've gone ahead and added that to the line. It wasn't part of the original thing. It was just, here's some mechs that you can use in your regular games of Battletech that look piratical, and here is some stats with some tokens for the stuff that people probably aren't going to care about. So I can see why they didn't go that route.
I would have been more interested in the box set for myself even if they put the Abominations in. So, that's me. I'm glad they're going to sell them. I'm still not interested in any of it. Like buying it. I'm glad the League picked it up for the one of the maps. I think it'll be pretty useful in League. It looked pretty good. It was used in the playoffs. But yeah, all in all, the product didn't sell me. But I'm not going to continue on that rant because everyone's already heard it 1,000 times from me.
Alrighty, Scott, you're up again. As one of us with the most exposure and experience, tell us about Scouring Sands, the Alpha Strike box. I mean, to clarify, you don't have the most experience of anything, but in Alpha Strike, you probably have the most experience.
I mean, we could always just start running Alpha Strike instead of Classic, and we'll see how that goes, but I don't think that's going to fly.
Where's my mute button? Where's the mute button? No. Please do tell us about this. Is actually something I was interested in. Please tell me about it.
Okay, well, I have to admit that what sold it on me originally was the Bane 3 inside the box. I was like, oh my god, Bane 3, because I love the mech. But no, really, it's... I feel like going into even my experience with the computer games and playing on something like MechWarrior 5, where you can dive in with a bunch of friends, it's super cool because now you have an AI deck that helps you in Alpha Strike. So, basic synopsis, you have the Falcons. Fighting the Falcons. I mean, it's the Alina Mercantile League. Slightly different Falcons than the standard Falcons, but they're still Falcons. You go in as a set of mercs, buying their stuff, fighting Falcons. And not a wrap-off of Brett's lance name this year, but you do fight a heck of a lot of Falcons. There's a lot of scenarios inside the box. And it actually plays out rather well with the AI deck. No, we don't have to go to ChatGPT, Grok, or whichever for that. It's a deck of cards that gives you the initiative and how the unit is going to move, when they go, who they're firing at. And to me, it just felt like the scenarios played out relatively well. I'm actually mid-campaign with a bunch of friends and we're having a blast.
Yeah, as well, I would have to echo that. I've played some Alpha Strike. It is an adjacent game that I don't mind, but it's definitely not where my heart is. I do like that it's a little bit different aspects of it. This particular product, I think its big seller, as you pointed out, is that it's, hey, play with your friends against a third party that's not just your friend. You get to go against an opponent that isn't just if A, B, if B, C. So with the cards, I think it adds a little bit of variety to it, but a whole lot more success in interaction with the players.
Yeah, Scott, thank you for that information. I didn't know anything a whole lot about the Scouring Sands portion of it. I definitely am interested in the idea of an AI deck. Alpha Strike, I think, fits perfectly for this kind of an idea because it's a really fast and quick way to play. I think this is a great product. I think it's one of the better ones Catalyst has come out with in the past while. I'm looking forward. I actually would like to try it out and see what it's like before I purchase it, but I think it's a pretty neat idea. Now, coming into the spring and summer, let's see what upcoming Battletech events we have going.
And since none of the Jeffs are actually here to announce their own tournaments, I, Laura from previous season Battletech and one of the Battle Babes, will give you all the information. April 4th, 2026, the Council of Jeffs are proud to bring you the second annual Trial of Bloodright. Join them for another fun-filled day of competition as last year's Raise Your Flag winners, Clan Seafox, put a blood name up for grabs. See the player pack for the full event details. The link will be in the description below. And for our second offering of this year's tournament season, come join the CBL and the Council of Jeffs for the Alberta Classic, May 30th, 2026. This year we will be enjoying some combined arms objective-based mayhem. Once again, player's pack attached in the details.
Other events that are coming up are the Sunrise Showdown in BC, and for the first time, a showing in Alberta as well.
And on the off chance that you happen to have some free time on weekends, my brother and I will be running games over at Imaginary Wars, where we will have a variety of scenarios ranging in Classic and Alpha Strike, and we post on the Imaginary Wars Facebook page, the Calgary Battletech Facebook page, when we remember, and their associated Discords. Come grab a mech and have some fun.
Well, that's about it for this season of the Calgary Battletech League. Season 6 is coming. We are absolutely doing it. We will absolutely have podcasts. Everything will be back to normal starting, end of July, beginning of August of
July
this year.
is draft, and August will be when the season starts up again.
If anyone is interested in seeing last season's packet, the digital packet is available upon request to the Calgary Battletech League at gmail.com email address. If you want to send us an email, we'll send you a digital copy of last year's packet. That way you can kind of see how we do things, see how the skills work, and maybe be able to follow along a little bit easier next year. Thank you very much for coming, and have a great winter, summer, spring, and see you guys soon.
And that's the wrap for this year's season of 2025-2026. We hope to see you all again soon.
Thank you again, everybody, for tuning in. We look forward to hearing from you next time and coming at you like a shot to the cockpit.